Boom!
We work in a factory, but it's not a factory.
It's like a family, it's an extended family.
This is going to be a super fun ride.
Welcome to episode 2 of Campfire Sessions. We're with Aaron Davis.
What's
Welcome.
going on?
Where are we, Aaron?
We are in, middle of nowhere, Wyoming. What is this? Is this Du Bois, officially?
Yeah, Du Bois, Wyoming.
On the Wiggins Fork?
Yeah, so we're at Wiggins Fork Ranch. This is one of the most remote spots in the lower 48 states.
Remote, privately owned property. Yeah,
there you go.
Because it's just surrounded by natural, what is it, forest?
Yeah.
The forest.
Yeah, we've been up here shooting photography with Aaron and doing some Sierra stuff.
It's been a blast.
Yeah.
Appreciate the opportunity, man.
Totally. I was really psyched to interview Aaron. He's pretty big in the hunting world. And so Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into photography.
Yeah, I'll kick it off with just a little intro. My name's Aaron Davis. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would consider myself a lifestyle photographer in the outdoor industry. So everything from hunting to fishing, camping, ranching, farming, man, pretty much anything in the outdoors these days.
The fire's gone.
It's gonna be like huge and then boom!
You guys looked at the stars tonight?
Not yet.
You kill that light.
We're still filming.
It's nuts off this ridge.
We're still filming the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
You've traveled all over. What is your favorite photo you've ever taken?
Man, that's tough. My favorite photos in general are like sunset, sunrise silhouettes. They're kind of simple, but to me they're just like breathtaking. I'm always trying to figure out a way to one-up it.
Have you ever had a photo that like went like crazy over social that like really
yeah, so
where people like pass out and maybe you got some new work because of it?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was, I don't know, maybe a year into photography, I had this idea to shoot a photo of my buddy fishing, casting a lure. So I was trying to figure out how to get the lure in focus as he's coming back. We tried a bunch of different techniques and we figured out there's a little way to shoot it where I can get the lure in focus as he's pulling it past with like a big crankbait. And I shot this photo and Cabela's reached out and they were like, hey, can we share this on our social? And I looked at their Instagram, they had 1 million followers at the time, and I was like, heck yeah. Like you don't owe me anything, just tag me. So it was really cool. At this point in time, Instagram had just come out with like photo tags where like you touch the photo and your name pops up, and those get a lot of clicks. I think in the span of like 1 week, I gained like 8,000 followers.
In a week?
In a week.
Oh, damn.
And this was like, I maybe had like 5,000 or 6,000 followers, and that pushed me like above 10. And I was like, that blew up.
When you got into this, were you thinking like, man, I really see this need for this industry?
So when I got into the outdoor photography space, Instagram was still growing, developing. There weren't a lot of big names doing what I do now. There weren't a lot of people that were taking cameras, hunting. There were a few that were doing it really well, and they were kind of like the guys, but there wasn't really anybody I looked up to and like I want to do that. So I kind of like created my own style and niche just off of what I like to shoot. I like to shoot the people, the colors, the landscapes, and just show like the beauty of the outdoors. And I think what I've received a lot of feedback is like, hey, we like how you show hunting in like a beautiful, positive way. Like it's not bloody, it's not guts, it's not, hey, we're killing. It's like, hey, this is beautiful, and showing the dogs working and the people and the relationships that come through hunting. I like to tell a little bit of a story with every photo. So like try to take a hunt and capture moments, that special moments that everybody can connect with and feed off of. But
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not, like you said, it's not about the kill. It's about like going out with family or friends and just enjoying each other's company.
But yeah, no, I didn't really have a specific style that I went after. I kind of just shoot the things that I love and try to tell stories with each photo.
If you had to pick like one shoot, what's you're super excited
So what I
to
shoot
get out?
the most and what I enjoy the most is probably dogs.
Okay.
So I do a lot of work with like Purina, Gunner Kennels, and so I like to shoot dogs in every aspect. So action shots of dogs crushing through water, dogs picking up ducks, dogs in the blind. I don't know, connection between a guy and his dog, like going out hunting, like that's powerful. A lot of people connect with that.
go a little deeper on, like, where you grew up a dog person? Did you always have a dog in your family?
Kinda, but never really had a dog that I said we grew up with dogs, but I never really liked them. I didn't hate them. They were just there.
Right.
Like I didn't like connect with them. I didn't pet them. I think I may have pet them, but they weren't like my friend. Like they weren't like my pal. So maybe my sophomore year of college or my junior year, a guy reached out to me, and this is kind of when I got into photography, and he was like, "Hey, I'd love for you to come out and shoot some pictures of a litter of puppies I got. If you'll come out and do that," he's like, "I don't really have a budget, but I'll give you a puppy." And I'm like, yes. I didn't even know anything about breeding. I didn't know anything about like dog genetics. I just knew like, hey, that's a good looking puppy, I'll take it. And so that's my dog now, Milo. He's 3, so that's 3 years. He'll be 3 this summer, July. It's a big bond when you take a dog from a puppy and teach it, train it, everything. So yeah, that's kind of the entry into my passion for dogs. And then about a year ago, a trainer in Mississippi gave me the opportunity to take one of his stud dogs that was 10 years old and come live with me as a retirement home. So he's like, hey, we need a place for this dog to be comfortable and loved on, and you know, you guys are having a little baby, it'd be fun to just, you know, have a family dog. Let him, he's been living in a kennel for his whole life, and let him come sleep on the couch, cuddle with y'all. So I had him for a year, and he just passed away of cancer like about a month ago. But just being able to see different dogs and have him in the house, it was really cool.
That's awesome. Did you start in did you go right into, because I know a lot of photographers do like wedding stuff first?
Man, no, I had no intention of doing it professionally. I had no intention of making, I didn't even really understand that you can make money with a camera. I guess I kind of did, but I had no intentions of that. I went to a little school, a junior college in Kansas, middle of nowhere. We'd shoot sunsets, we'd shoot stock photos of the stars, long exposure. So I like just taught myself how to use a camera. And from there, had some buddies in college like, hey, you want to come hunting? And I didn't grow up hunting. My family didn't hunt. My grandpa didn't hunt. But they're like, you want to come hunting? And I was like, sure. And they're like, bring your camera. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It might get wet. And they're like, no, you got to bring it. You got to shoot photos of us hunting. And they thought it was the coolest thing. So went, shot photos of them hunting. And some of the photos that I shot had a certain brand in the photos, a hat. And the company reached out to me and like, hey, can we use these photos? And I'm like, sure. And they're like, we'll send you some more hats. And I thought that was just like the biggest thing ever. Like that's the ultimate goal. And then I realized from there, like, okay, brands need photos, and started realizing what marketing is. And I was going to school for business, so during this whole time I'm learning more about business, more about marketing, and kind of took that and put it into my photography. Man, just started sending hundreds of emails and getting a lot of good responses back. And I just took a ton of time building a portfolio. I think that was my biggest thing, is like I needed photos to show these companies like, hey, here's what I can do. So I spent a ton of time making no money, just shooting photos of buddies hunting and outfitters that I knew, and just getting better with the camera. And
shooting photography and shooting guns both require precision skills. And you just got to kind of know, like, you know, like bullets or shooting, you got to know your grain. You got to know, it's not just shooting down a scope. You got to know your wind, distance. Especially if you're shooting distance to require a really good shot. So relate that to photography.
Yeah, I think you kind of got to see this weekend while I was here in Wyoming that I have a style of photography I like to shoot. I have a certain light that I like to shoot in, and a certain light that I might not like to shoot in. And everybody has a different style. Everybody shoots differently. I think a lot of the things that I'm looking for is I like to show a lot of color. I like to show things how I see it with my eyes. So when I look over that mountain range and you see those colors, you see the greens of the trees, you see the blue of the water, like how can we show that? And so it's not as simple as just taking a camera and clicking. You got to know where the light is. You got to know how the light affects the terrain, how the light affects the subject you're shooting, and how that's going to relate to the image it's going to create on the camera. And so knowing the times of days and lining up, scheduling things is like, man, my mind's constantly spinning, constantly thinking of how do I get the shot that I want? What settings do I need to shoot at? So like you said, it's way more than just pulling the shutter. It's a trial and error thing. You learn as you go, and you fail, and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot, and all of them, they don't turn out half the time. And when they do, you're like, okay, why did that work? And so I think it's just constantly teaching yourself. I mean, I learned stuff this weekend that I'll just keep carrying it over.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with shooting too.
Yeah,
like
for
you're
sure.
always learning your scope. You're learning, you know, maybe I need to change something about my load, or
Right.
so I think that's cool. To
And
compare
anybody that puts the time into a certain skill like shooting, or you're shooting photos, you're gonna learn what doesn't work, and you're gonna learn how to be more successful consistently.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
So yesterday we were on horses, and you guys were trying to keep up on foot.
Yeah.
What has been like the most challenging elements that you've ever been on one of your shoots? Like rainy, snowy.
I think it's a little bit of all of that. I wouldn't say there's one that stands out as the most challenging. I think the outdoors brings on elements that you can't control. And so whether it's freezing cold, whether it's 50-mile-an-hour winds, whether it's snow, finding a way to make that work. And heck, cameras struggle in the cold. Cameras don't do well in the rain. So being prepared, having more batteries when it's going to be cold. It's even challenging when it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day. It's like, heck, the sun is almost too bright sometimes. So
you said something to me, I think yesterday, that I thought was pretty interesting. You said all the time you just shoot it because you just never know what the next day is going to bring.
Yeah.
Could be like, you know, right now it's perfect, but
Yeah.
you never say, oh, we'll just get it tomorrow
Yeah.
because tomorrow could be rainy or it could be snowing,
Yeah.
or you know.
Yeah, no, when I make a shot list, I kind of have an idea of what I want. And so, like, say we're going in to shoot a certain shot and the light's not perfect, I almost am like, we need to go ahead and shoot this anyway because tomorrow could even be worse than this. So if tomorrow's worse and the next day's worse and all 3 days are up and we didn't even get to shoot it, it's like you should have just shot it when you had the chance. Especially when you have to deliver to a client. You know, you can't just hope that tomorrow works out. You kind of got to make it happen today, and then if tomorrow ends up working out, that's great. It's a win. So,
Do you have any other stories? You never where you're like, man, not like you almost died, but like,
so I film helicopter hog hunts out in western Oklahoma, and the winds just pick up 50, 60 mile an hour gusts. Starts tossing those helicopters around. We had to sit it down one time on like a riverbank and just.
are you strapped in? Like,
Yeah,
you're hanging out
seatbelts.
the side, or
I'm not really hanging. I am, but I'm
just picturing you on the side, just like hanging out.
so I'm filming those for the guy. So the angle is I'm in the back. Let me see. We got a shooter in the front left, a shooter in the back left. I'm in the back right, and I'm filming over the shoulder of the back shooter, and I can see the front shooter as well. So I'm not really hanging out. I'm more over them as they're shooting. So the helicopter pilot's getting on the hogs,
Right.
pushing them, and then angling the helicopter, and they're just kind of shooting. I'm just wide angle filming. But it's really not that sketchy. I probably have done 20, 30 flights, but it can be when the wind picks up because the helicopters are light. I mean, they can toss around pretty easy.
So they're using ARs.
Yeah. 2 ARs is probably the most accurate way to shoot them.
Let's talk about, you know, a little more photography. Anyone that's out there watching this video that's trying to get into photography, where should they start?
Yeah, I think the first thing, obviously, buying a camera. When I was in college, didn't even know anything about cameras. I did a little research, saved up, I don't know, $900 and bought a kit camera. It was like a Canon Rebel T6i. It was great, dude. That camera, I could come out here and shoot with that camera and it'd be great. So I tell people, like, don't feel like you got to go buy the biggest, best camera right off the bat, because you don't. You need to learn how to use a camera. And so I recommend those Rebel cameras all the time. They're great. They shoot great photos. Learn how to shoot manual. Learn.
Did you go to school?
Not really.
So it's all self-taught?
YouTube and every little thing, like, how do I shoot a action shot? And you'd be like, well, you need to, but you have to learn ISO. You got to learn aperture. You got to learn shutter speed and how they all work together to create a photo. Every photo is different. If I'm shooting a long exposure, I want the shutter to be slow. If I'm shooting action, I want the shutter to be fast. Everything affects off of what you're wanting to shoot. Every photo is different. And so, like, today, after doing this for 3 years, it's natural instinct. Like, I want to shoot that. I want to shoot a silhouette. Well, if I want to shoot a silhouette, I need to way underexpose so I can bring the sky out and make the subject dark. And then I tell everybody is like, hey, how do I work with brands? I'm like, first thing is you got to have a portfolio. So to start that, you got to go out and, I don't know, shoot things you're passionate about. Go out and shoot with your buddies. Go out and shoot hunting trips. Go fishing with your friends and get pictures of them catching fish. I mean, get photos that you love and build a really solid portfolio, and then from there it's reaching out to brands and asking how you can help them, showing them what you're capable of. And
I think like being your own too. Like
Yeah,
you have
for
your
sure.
own style. Be your own person. Shoot what you like to shoot.
yeah,
Because it will come through your photography.
yeah, and a lot of the times brands hire me because they want my style, and so
Right.
they want me. They don't want me to go, hey, we want to hire you to mimic this guy's photos. Like,
Right.
no, you would just hire that guy. So yeah, own it, own what you do, shoot photos of things and style that you're passionate about. I think the biggest thing is like, I really don't feel like I work with brands. I feel like I work with people. So whether it's Sierra Bullets, like I feel like you and I are buddies now. We
Right.
work together, and so like I want to create friendships. I want to create relationships that are gonna last forever. If that person moves on and they work with another brand, like they're still gonna know, like, hey, Aaron and I are good friends, and he's
Yeah.
always willing to help me out.
Do you ever get offended if another, like a brand you do have a good relationship uses another photographer?
No, I think that obviously when you do create a really good relationship with a brand, I think they use you more than other, obviously.
Right.
But I think that whether it's location or budget, or maybe they're working with somebody that has a photographer that they use, like I understand that. And I've come in and shot stuff for people that use other photographers, and I
Right.
don't think that, no, I don't think so at all. I think you just got to understand that that's part of it.
Well, there's all kinds of different photography, right? Like even
Right.
like studio photography,
Right.
like, you know, your passion is outdoor, and that's why
Right.
people hire you.
Right,
So,
for sure.
like when you're shooting people or families or ranches,
Yeah.
what traditions have been your favorite, like really stood out to you that you like want to pass on to your little girl or something?
Ooh, that's a deep question. The biggest thing I've seen is growing activities in the outdoors is important. I think today people are on their phones a lot. People are connected in ways that they weren't 10 years ago. Like with the guys that I work with every year, it's like everyone's, how can we grow this? Let's bring more people hunting. Let's bring more people fishing. Let's bring a buddy out to the ranch and let them see how beautiful it is, or how hard everybody that in a different life works, different lifestyle. I brought a buddy out this weekend, and
you worked them.
yeah, worked him, but he hadn't been around this kind of, he hadn't got to see this kind of stuff, and I had, and I'm just bringing people out, let them see it, let them be a part of it. I mean, that might turn him into an avid outdoorsman, and that chain goes down to his kids, and I think that's important.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like I look forward to every year going out with my family, and I'm super excited to pass on my kids, because with hunting, there's a lot, probably just like shooting, you know, your camera is never giving up.
Right.
Like, you know, you go out there, you know, spend a week or day, and you're hiking. It's hard, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to go back to camp, but you learn to stick through, you push through, and sometimes you prosper, right? Sometimes you don't, but you go
Right.
out and you do it again, and
Right.
I'm excited to teach my kids, like, because that relates to life, right? When we're doing our own business, our job, anything, it's all about keeping at it, making mistakes,
Right.
and going out and doing it over and over again until you do
Yeah,
it. So
and following those things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I think I tell everybody, like, what are you passionate about? And if they tell me, but they're not pursuing it, I'm like, why? I mean,
Right.
it's obtainable if you're passionate about it. Go out and do it. Make it happen. Don't give up.
well, Aaron, thanks for being on episode 2.
Yeah, man.
You're here in the beginning
Yeah.
of the greatness of the new Campfire sessions.
Yeah. What's the goal with these?
So Campfire sessions is, we just want to talk with people, not about bullets. Obviously, we love that stuff,
Right.
but we just want to support the community and
Yeah.
people that are doing cool things in the space. Really, again, just to promote you and promote people like you, and
Yeah.
whether it's photography or, you know, a marksman shooter or bulletsmith. Yeah, we want to find those people and tell you know, our followers where we can find you, where they can look you up and follow you.
Yeah, man. I put most of my work is on Instagram, Aaron R. Davis. Instagram's a really cool platform. Connect
Yeah.
with a lot of people through that. We connected through there.
Yeah.
And I think it's, go follow me. I think I have a lot of relationships with people I haven't even met just through social media. It's really cool. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. I
And
think
it's at Aaron Davis.
Aaron R. Davis.
Even R. Davis. So don't forget the R.
Don't forget the R. So my email is aaronrdavisphotos@gmail.com.
Uh-huh.
And then in it says, don't forget the R.
Right.
And it works.
Yeah.
But it's like people forget it every time.
That's
But anyways, man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
I think telling people stories and promoting other people and what they do is really cool. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we just hope like this inspires people to get out and just do what they love, just like what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
man.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
your inspiration, and we hope that people get out and do it. So.
Likewise, man. Thank you.
Cut.